Hey everyone, so thanks for joining me today. We're talking about journaling today, and it's something that I feel like fewer and fewer people do, but the benefits are absolutely insane. I've been doing this for many months. I tried many times, but then I would quit. But this February I started and I created this system that I use to this day. I've been modifying it and adapting it, improving it. And I want to share that same system with you so that you can use, because journaling is so important. If we want to track goals, track our thoughts, everything like out, improve ourselves and understand ourselves better, journaling is the way to go. It doesn't take that much time at all, and the benefits long term are incredibly useful. So I'm going to show you how I journal personally. This isn't the only way to journal. There's so many ways to journal. If you go search up online, you come up with so many different ideas. But I'll show you what I do personally, and hopefully it will help you out. Because I tried a lot of different things in the past. I tried the journals where you write down like a journal entry every day and you talk about like what you did or whatever. That I found was useless to me. It might be useful to you. You can try it out, but for me it was useless. Me journaling every single day and writing down what I did each day doesn't really help me. That's not what I find important. What I do find important is tracking down the essential thoughts, the really big thought processes. Those are like the real juice of the journal. But there's a lot of other things that we can do in our journal to track everything else. So that's what I'll be showing you today. So where do I begin? Even right now, let's just talk about the current system I use right now. I won't talk about the past, which is what I use right now. So first off, I have a habit tracker. If you look right here, I don't want to show, so I'm just going to show from far. I have a huge habit tracker. It takes up half a page with like a ton of different habits. How many right now? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 habits, with quite a bit, and a bunch of other things too. I started off with like 5 different habits. Yeah, I started off with 5 habits, and I've just been adding on new things and changing things up. For a habit tracker, I'll put a picture of mine on the screen right here. But what I do is essentially I break it down. I break down the different habits that I find really important to me currently that will improve my life. Things like working out, things like reading books, things like meditations. I would put these as habits, and I would track them down each day. Every single day, I would put a little circle. And right now, currently, this is the more advanced form, but I even have different types of meditation. I'll put different symbols, so not just a circle, but I'll put like a triangle or a square, depending on what type of meditation I'm doing for that day. It gives me a bit more knowledge. So when I'm looking back, I just have more knowledge of what I did that month. And this is the important part about the habit tracker, that, sure, tracking down your habits, all cool and stuff, but the real reason why I do this, why I track down not only habits, but like my mood, my sleep, my media use, everything. I track all these things down because I can look back upon these things. I've said this in other videos, but you can see patterns start to appear on the pages. Maybe it's like a certain time frame, a few days where you start missing different habits, and then maybe you can see like how was my mood those days? What were the journal entries that I wrote on those days, which we'll talk about a bit later. But it's incredible how many patterns you can start to see when you use a habit tracker. And it's also great to use because habit trackers are important where, maybe it helps you just see better the different habit, like your actual like discipline level. Maybe you miss like your meditations like 4 days in a row. It just shows like on paper, you can't change that. It shows like you failed 4 days in a row. You gotta step back up. So that's an important thing to do. It's set in stone. You write them down and you can't change it. So it really shows you the truth. I do have some bad habits that I would put in here too, to keep track of. You try to avoid doing those things. And so over time, you might see like, shoot, man, I failed. I did those bad habits on these certain days. And it's just, you can track so much with a habit tracker. So try it out for yourself. Go with something, go with the basic habits. I started off with just 5 habits, and I moved on to more and more habits and just more advanced habit tracking. But if you're starting off, start off with just a few habits. Don't go crazy with it because it's just not as manageable. Understand how it works, try to think of different things out, different layouts. You know, I didn't always have these dotted graphs before. I used to just have like basic stuff where it's like, it was just horrible. But this is just what I've come to, and right now, this is like the best form it's taken, and this is what I've been using, but I keep adapting, keep changing and improving this every month. So that's for habit track. Get started on habit track, it's so important. The next thing that I do in my journal is gratitude journaling. I talked about this in one video, you can check it out here. But gratitude journaling is basically exactly what gratitude journaling is. You just write down what you're grateful for. And I'll put down one thing each day. I'm probably going to be amping this up next month. But it does take up a lot of space. So each day I would write one thing that I'm grateful for. Not just like, I'm grateful for like shoes, right? Don't write shoes or something, or microwave. Write down a whole sentence. I think that helps. Write down, like, it just truly like makes you put more thought into it. So, but I'm grateful for blank because blank. Let's see, let's read a couple of mine. Let's see. Where should we go? I'm grateful for this crusty old robe to keep me warm and comfortable around the house. Pretty simple, you know. I'm grateful for my phone camera that allows me to film videos and spread the messages. You know, they don't have to be long or anything too, you know. I'm grateful for this door so I can work alone in peace and feel comfortable while sleeping. You know, it's simple stuff, but once you just put down these gratitude, put them on paper and continue to do that. The more you do that, I feel like the more grateful you are, the more positive mindset you get. And that's just really important in today's day and age, you know. Oftentimes we go about our day, we're so fast paced, we go by, we don't really get time to think about the actual things we've done, think about the blessings that we've had today, and we just really miss out on that. So make some time out of your day to just journal one little sentence of what you're grateful for. And it can be about the most mundane things. We go, grateful for your water bottle, grateful for my backpack, grateful for my skateboard, you know, it's something simple. Or it can be even more, like the special events. Maybe I'm grateful for like the birthday party I just attended, or, you know, stuff like that. So, yeah, do some gratitude journaling. It really takes like just a few seconds each day to write down one sentence. So, and the benefits are insane. So I definitely encourage you to do that. Now, the next part of my journal, this is the majority of my journal, which is journal entries. What I do here is I don't do this every day. Habit tracking and gratitude every single day, you know, without mistake. But the journal entries are more so whenever I have a certain thought process that just comes to mind. Maybe it's something that I've been mulling over for days and days and days, and then all of a sudden it just finally clicks, and like I understand something. I'll write that down. Or maybe I don't understand it, and so I write it down anyway. It's like, shoot, like this is something I have to figure out. This is something I've been dealing with, I've been struggling with for a while, and so I would put that down. And this is an incredible thing to do. I put the date, and then I put like whatever I write about, and it's just absolutely like incredible, because when you can look back on those things, maybe it's the times where you're feeling really like sad or depressed. You can look back on those things a few months from now. Maybe you're dealing with the same thing today, but you're like, shoot, like I remember like a couple months ago, I was feeling that same way. What did I do then? So you turn to that page, you read out your journal entry, and you figure out like, shoot, like this is what I did. You know, these are the thoughts I had. This is how I got through it. Or maybe it's like a certain sin you're dealing with right now. You know, dang, like I've been angry with my parents again. You know, but I remember I did this. I did this same thing. I did this like last month. So you go back to that page where you wrote that stuff down, and you know, it's just like it's like a library of like a bunch of these things that you can just look back upon and learn from. And that's the important thing. It's like learning from your mistakes, and that's how we can grow, and that's how we can improve a lot quicker. And that's why like journaling is so important. So I write down some big thought processes. Sometimes it's goals, sometimes it's just like things that have just been on my mind. So it really varies, but I would highlight the most important like thing on the pages, just so it stands out a bit more, so it's just not text on a page. And if I'm flipping through my journal quickly, I can easily find the things like the keywords, and just find those entries a lot faster. But the connections here are really important with the dates. Like I said, with the journaling, with the habit tracking, if you put the dates for each day, right, and you find the patterns in your habits, you can also sometimes relate that to the journal entries that you write. So sometimes it's like maybe like on a huge streak with all your habits, doing this, like you're just keeping track with everything, right? You got every single habit down for like 5 days in a row, and then you look at the dates there, and you go back to the journal entry section of your journal. You check those dates, and you see like, dang, like, you know, I was feeling really great this day. You know, I finally came to this conclusion about this thing that I've been struggling with for a while, and you just find like, shoot, you know, it's pretty crazy, all those connections that you can make. And if you look really deeply about that, take some time to like just reflect and have that introspective time. It can be really, really effective because you know, if you don't journal, if you don't do any reflections, you lose out on this. You know, you're not going to be improving as fast as you want to. You're not going to be reaching those goals. You probably don't even remember what you did last month, what you were thinking about. And that's why it's so important to have this journal down. Really write down all the things that are really important, things that stick out. Because now, like, it is February where I started this year. So what is that? That's a few months now. It's like half a year now. And I can look back on that first month and just see like all the things I was struggling with at that time. Some of those things I still think about to this day, but it's a different way of thinking about those things. I don't want to go too deep into some of these things, but some of these things I talk about on my channel too. So if you look back, the way I see things change over time, as I improve, as I learn new things, you know, as I talk to more people, just my perspectives change, and it's pretty interesting to see. But those are the 3 parts of the journal that I suggest you do. It's just absolutely incredible to do this. Like, it's crazy. Sometimes I go do other things. So now I'm going to talk about other things that you can do in your journal, which is writing down highlights of the month. Sometimes it's cool to just look back and be like, yeah, like let's see what we did in February. I did highlights of the month. You know, had my birthday in that month. I went to this coolest night of the year walk, 5K walk with the youth. And so I could look back on those and like, shoot, like I remember those times. I remember this fire that I did with my friends on that day. But I stopped doing highlights because, you know, it's cool and all, but for me, I just don't find that as important as compared to like writing down those like deep thoughts, which can be of utmost importance to our growth, you know, as a human. You know what I mean? Some other things you can do is, what else we have? We have end of month. So we have goals of the month, and we have end of month evaluations is what you can do. So for each month, you can write down your goals for that month. Personally, I don't do this anymore because I wrote down all my goals on Notion, which is some online app that you can use that can really organize all the goals there. So I keep on there, and I don't really change my goals too much. So I stick with my goals on that. I don't really write down on my journal anymore, but you could do that yourself. It's cool to have different goals, short-term and long-term. If you have short-term goals, you can go at the end of the month and just talk about how you did with those goals. That's an important thing. I try to do an end of the month evaluation every single month, and just talk about like how I did on my habits, how I did on just like the important things that happened that month, whatever it may be. Maybe it's like school, how did I do it then? Maybe it's like social skills or whatever, like how did I do there? Maybe it's you know, YouTube or whatever, like what was I doing on YouTube? So tracking all those things, it's really important to do those end of the month recaps because it helps us grow. You know, if we don't evaluate ourselves, if we don't reflect on our past, our mistakes, then how are we going to improve? How are we going to grow and learn from those, from what we did in the past? Because that's the main importance of the journal here. I think a lot of people, they hear the word journaling and they shrug it off as like, that's for little kids. You know, who actually does journaling? That's boring. But you know, they're missing out. They're missing out on some very important stuff. Journaling is so important. Like, Like, I don't understand how you can't journal. Like, if you don't journal, like, it blows my mind, because you're missing out so much. And that's why I encourage you so much to do journaling, because the amount of knowledge you can gain about yourself through a journal, literally, how much time does it take me to journal? Like, literally, so little time, you know. It doesn't take any time at all to do this, and the benefits are insane. So, I just encourage you to do it. I don't know, that's it for this video pretty much. I don't know what else to say. Just like start journaling. Start off small, don't go too crazy with it. And then over time you'll start to develop like your own system of how you journal. You know, my system might not be of use to you, but for me this is the best it gets for me so far. And you know, maybe in a year's time it's gonna be totally different as I adapt and as I, you know, change and improve different things about my journaling techniques. But I do encourage you to try things out. Do the habit tracking, that's so important. Do the gratitude journaling, and then write down journal entries of important thoughts that you come across throughout the month. And with that, you can find so many patterns of how you think, of different things that you find important. You know, you didn't realize that you found this certain thing so important when you look back on the month and you found out that you wrote about the same thing like 7 times. So it's pretty interesting, and definitely encourage you to do it. That's it for this video. Just want to show how I journal, and try it out for yourself.